Hello and welcome to Straight News TV. You haven't seen videos from us for some time, but we are back. We are relaunching. Serge, Jonathan and Ian couldn't make it today. Jonathan's over in Boston recording clips of the Conor McGregor fight. He does do lots of footage on YouTube, UFC and boxing or whatever, so he can't be with us. Serge is busy and Ian has some internet problems. But we've got Dave on the show today. Dave has been posting on our Facebook and website for over a year now on various things, having his opinion. Whether we agree with everything Dave says, we mostly do, it doesn't matter. Dave has an opinion the whole time, and we all have opinions like arseholes. But Dave, a lot of the time, is spot on. Big United fan, so it's good having him on. Dave, how are you? He hasn't got a webcam, by the way, so you have to get used to looking at my ugly mug for this show. But Dave, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fantastic. Thank you, Dale. Very, very relieved at 3 points yesterday, in spite of having to go to 4-4-2 to get them.
Yeah, absolutely. This show, we're looking at a signing that we all want before the January window ends. Obviously, we have Victor Valdes coming on a free transfer, coming as a second choice for the time being. Hopefully, for longer than his contract states under David de Gea. We all want David de Gea to stay. We all want to sign that contract extension. But as time goes on, it's feeling that bit like Ronaldo, and you start fearing the worst. But fingers crossed, he will sign. Media is kind of contradicting itself sometimes, saying he's close to sign, and then all of a sudden that Madrid are bringing this big offer and he's turning his head. We just don't know what to believe right now. Anyway, what this show is set up to do is look at potential signings. We will get to who Dave wants tonight to sign, one player, and then we'll talk about my player I want him to sign. But we'll look at some of the readers on Twitter had their say. First up, Dave, Kevin Strootman, obviously a Dutch international. Louis van Gaal knows him quite well. Is he a realistic target this month? And even if he does, with this injury in mind, is it a risk?
I think with the injury thing, hopefully the scouts, if they're going to make a genuine bid and try to make this happen, will have been watching him to ascertain whether that injury is done with or not. I'm sick of the media speculation, in particular the chief exec of the club talking about how he's not going anywhere, etc., etc., just to raise the price, which of course everybody does. It's nothing new. I can't help but feel that it's going to be July, I think, before we see any serious money being spent. And I just feel as though we'll be lucky to get a good, solid centre-back in January. And picking up on what you said about De Gea, is that I don't think there is a single player on the planet, Ronaldo included, even Messi, because there's some more speculation, that is worth letting De Gea go. I really don't. Even though we've got Valdes as a backup, clearly Lindegaard is on his way out. I would be just so pissed off if they let De Gea go. You can't. He did it again yesterday. We could have gone 2 goals down.
Just on that, and you mentioned about Kevin Strootman, serious money being spent till the summer. And with the way we've seen with Vidal last year, Juventus, they were totally kind of being stubborn about it, and they were looking for the best deal. Every club should. It just seems to me, I said it yesterday about David De Gea, that the second Real Madrid comes sniffing around, Ronaldo, De Gea, whatever, United seem to bend over and they let this player go. When we go looking for players like Kevin Strootman, you can be guaranteed Roma will really blood it out and try to get the most money possible and make it a real saga. Why don't we do that to clubs? Why don't we rip off clubs? 35 million is a lot of money for a goalkeeper. But why not 40 million? Why not keep pushing the boundaries? Because that's what clubs do to us. Marwan Fellaini, 30 million. Dimitar Berbatov, same value. You know, all these players that we've overspent for.
I think what shocked everybody, if you look back to July, I remember being sat at work and hearing day in, day out a new rumour, and the next thing we know, obviously we got Herrera came in. That was one of Moyes' targets, we know that. We also got, I'm trying to think who the other guy was that Moyes started to scout for, and we ended up getting him. Am I thinking of Rojo, or who was the other signing? Jesus, I should remember.
Lynn, Luke Shaw.
Luke Shaw, thank you, that's it. So that was a nice start, and then before you know it, Maria coming in at that huge money, and I could not get a grip as to what made Ed Woodward change his mind and get the checkbook out. And then, of course, Malcolm Glazer died, and you start to think, well, maybe his sons were actually all for building the club up and spending some money. So I kind of...
The one thing I will say, and it's almost a myth, and I watched on BBC Red Wednesday, and they were talking about the 10-year anniversary of the Glazer takeover. People were saying, you know, fair play in the last year they're spending money. It's not their money they're spending. It's the club's revenue. So still they're yet to spend their own money, and it's almost a myth that ideally they would run this club without the revenue being spent at all. That's an ideal situation. Players coming through the whole time. And I think they've almost panicked after last season and said, right, we actually better get a move on. We better start giving the manager some of the revenue to spend, or Ed Woodward or so on, because you can't keep you can't win in the current climate with Chelsea and City spending all these fortunes without doing a bit yourself. You have to push the ball out, especially if there's not youth players coming through. Now we do have the likes of Wilson, great goal yesterday. I laughed when that goal went in because he got the second chance ball bounced back out, and Falcao was arguably in a better position, but he said to fuck this, I'm going for it, and he was spot on. He was absolutely spot on. It was a great finish. But I know I mentioned Kevin Stroop, and just to move on, the whole aim of the show is to go through players that we can potentially sign, players that we want. You're saying Kevin Stroop, and more than likely in the summer, you think that we spend big money.
I think it's like Louis said on MUTV on the press preview. The players that he really wants aren't available now, and I can't help but think he's made the inquiry, and it's just not going to happen yet. It's the same with Matt Hummels. It's probably the same with, say, someone like Diego Godin from Atletico. And I feel like, as much as it'll upset people, the only realistic guy that might come in, just because Louis likes to show his loyalty to the Dutch guys, is Vlaar. And there'll be people laughing all over their face when they hear that now, and I understand that. But I just think... if anyone's going to come in, that's the most likely, the most realistic, I think. Not saying I agree with it. I wouldn't say no, and he wouldn't cost much money. 6 million, I think they think.
Yeah, no, definitely. And just on that, no, what you mentioned there with Flowers, you might not agree with it, but realistically, who we could attract, because when you look at Roma, I know they're not in Europe anymore, but they're still, you know, you don't want to see your best players ever go in January. Any big club will try to hold on in January because it's midway through a season and anything happens. You think, you know, start talking a lot of mentions. We'll go on to him now. Matt Hummels, Dortmund, obviously still in Europe, sitting in relegation in the Bundesliga, but they're still in Europe. And why would he want to leave that club as captain in January when they're still in Europe? Do you know, why not just say, if he wanted to come to United, you could say to United, look, leave it to the summer. Or if he wants to go to Madrid, leave it to the summer. I'm still in Europe with this club, I'm captain, I don't want to move yet. That makes sense. That's what holds me back about all this talk. Matt Hummels, for you, realistic ambition this month? Or realistic ambition at all? Do you think he'll come to United, maybe in summer?
I think, I hate to say it, for January it's La La Land. I think he was quoted on what seemed to be a credible interview the other day as being very loyal to the club he's with. I think he's only been to one other senior club, you know, as a senior player, I should say. So again, La La Land. I think it would be July, if then. So much is going to happen in the meantime. Of course, he knows he's wanted, as does his agent, and everybody just puts the price up. It's the same old. But like you said 5 minutes ago, they do have to just spend the money, just spend the money to get in there. Clearly, there's going to be a big clear out. I feel sure we'll lose a lot of players over the next, over the next couple of weeks. What's left of January, and centre back is the #1 priority.
Just more response have come in, and it seems quite. There's a lot of talk lately about right back. Klein and James Coleman have been mentioned in this thread on Twitter. Mostly Klein. I think there's been 1 or 2 mentions of Coleman, and possibly you're touching around 10 for Klein. So that's quite a difference, and even beautifully read. A good United blog has said Klein improvement both defensively and in attack over Tony V, and would weaken third place Southampton.
I think Anderson can do a job there. No, I'm just kidding, obviously. I mean, he looked good against United last week, which was irritating. I don't know.
I thought he was playing quite advanced for a fullback. I thought he was right up near where I was sitting for the first half. It was right near Sir Alex Ferguson's stand, and he could. Luke Shaw and Blind were almost kind of sharing the left back role. I know Blind was the left of a three back, and then you had Luke Shaw as a wing back. But it almost seemed as if Klein was right up the wing. He wasn't playing really defensive role. Obviously, when we had the ball, he was playing back. He was back there. But when they had possession anywhere on the pitch, he was right up the wing. It wasn't really defensive role, but just kind of show you the versatility. He can play a defensive role, and he has that speed and that stamina to run up and down the pitch, like what everyone's had. Didn't happen his last 2 seasons. He wasn't able to get up and down the pitch as often, but that's a massive trait to have. You have to have that as a fullback now. You have to have.
He was bloody good yesterday again. I watched him yesterday for part of the game. I didn't see it all. So really, what we're saying then is we're not happy with Raphael in that role, or rather, it looks like he's going to move on. Because I keep hearing that. Huh?
I'm a big Raphael fan, and a lot of people are losing patience with him. I think Scott from Republic of Mancunian tweeted the other day. He's a big Raphael fan as well, and he tweeted about kind of 2 pictures, him having a go at Tevez and him having a go at some Liverpool players at Anfield. And that passion that he has, and that's what I want in a United player. I want to see a United player that wears a shirt. That's slowly but surely leaving, because we're losing these homegrown players. Just sold Danny Welbeck. We haven't got another Gary Neville anymore. And I don't like that. But that's slowly but surely coming into football. But just on this, so we can move on to another player. You decide. Well, 2 questions. Do we need a better right back than Raphael, or do we just need a right back that comes in as backup, a proper right back, not Antonio Valencia? And secondly, Seamus Coleman or Klein?
I don't think Coleman would leave Everton. I think he's made that clear before. I feel like I've seen that several times. Klein, well, he's obviously mates with Luke Shaw. And from what I've seen, I have to confess, I've only really seen him play against United last week. I watched him yesterday, just in case. And I think I would prefer him because he's a bit younger. And I think he more fits and God help me, I'm going to get cremated for this, but this Louis, he's going to persist with 3-5-2. I feel, just because it worked in the World Cup. So God help us, if he's going to go down that road, then it would be Klein. I feel sure over Coleman.
Just lads, anyone watching, all the abuse in the comment section below.
Oh yeah.
Next up, who have we got next? Bebe is a suggestion. We'll ignore that one. Someone's talked about 4-4-2.
Surprise!
Surprise! Can Clock kick a ball? Got in. Right, I spoke to you before the show, and Godin is a player that you mentioned yourself. So before we do that, we need to know what you think. Go for it, Godin. This month, summer, and what will he bring that we don't have already?
Don't know a great deal about him. He's the right age, 28. I think that's around the time that Vida came in. He's, I think, am I right in saying he's captain of Atletico? I didn't see the whole game the other night. Brilliant in the World Cup for Uruguay. He's a tough guy.
He has that experience. I think in the current squad, people are speaking about the defenders not being good enough, and so on. I don't buy that. I think on the interview we had with Gary Neville on the blog during the week, he speaks about defenders, especially, and they need that break, they need that one season with any injuries and cement that place. And I think Evans and Jonesy and Small have yet to really have that. But I think what would help them, and you could see with Evans, he was fantastic beside Bilic a few years ago. He needs that partner, and I think a lot of them need it. That partner with experience and control.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what Godin has. He has that experience to come in and control the back four. And those younger, now they're coming to the stage we expect experience from Evans, but at least he knows beside him that he has a world-class defender. It's a reassurance.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what people like. Well, if he's kept, Johnny Evans, he played so much better when he was alongside Vidic and/or Ferdinand. The thing with Godin as well is that if it's true that Real Madrid want Hummels, they can't buy everybody. So it would seem when I feel on a low about it, I feel like Godin's a more likely signing than Hummels. I mean, God. They were both great. Godin was brilliant for Atletico last year, and I think we could do a lot worse. And there's not that many alternatives. I know a guy tweeted the other day and put on Stretchy News on Facebook about there was meant to be some decent rumour about I'll probably get his name wrong or pronounce it wrong. Laporte, Almeric Laporte, I think his name is.
Dave?
Huh?
You see that on your screen, and some
Laporte. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
We should get Laporte. Young, comfortable on the ball, a natural leader, would fit perfectly.
Yeah. Again, I can't say I know a great deal about him, but I tell you what, there's been a few rumours just starting to surface now, as ever in January, and it's sickening. Every day you see him on the Manchester Evening News and on all of your feeds. You know, same old. It's so frustrating, but that's just what it's like in January and July. But I'd be happy. Yeah.
One more question before we do wrap it up from the comment section. You might see the screen now. Bale to United. Can we is this one worth buying into, or is this total fiction?
I can't. I mean, we've seen it so many times. There might be something in it. I must admit, if you had on a 4-4-2, if you've got Bale and Di Maria on the other side, that's a little bit. Who wouldn't get moist at the thought of that? Do you know what I mean? So, but are they going to would they let him go? I mean, maybe. There's a few rumours that he doesn't get on with Cristiano. You know, maybe they're thinking they should dump Bale. I don't know. It just seems so unlikely. And the money.
Isn't Ronaldo 30 next year?
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't make sense. Bale coming through, he's going to get better. He's already won a Champions League with them.
Yeah.
He's not been there long. They haven't got the valuation back off him yet.
Agreed.
Why would he want to leave so quick?
Exactly. And coming back to the Premiership as well, I mean, why would he bother? As long as, if it did happen, as long as De Gea stays put, that's my only worry about Valdes coming in. You sort of think, I understand a good I mean, Valdes, it's well known now. He joined us to sit on the bench rather than go to the cesspit up the road. But I don't know. I can't understand why Valdes would come in for that if there wasn't some horrible, underlying plan to get to move David on in favour of Bale or maybe even Cristiano. You just can't make head or tail of these rumours. I don't know. It's so frustrating.
Absolutely. We will wrap it up here.
Okay.
First, Dave, really appreciate you coming on the show today. We'll have you on again, definitely. And as the month goes on, we don't really particularly like talking transfer. I know we did today, just to see what the readers thought, what they wanted. It can be a sticky subject. Obviously, if we sign more players, we come on, we talk about them, and as rumours heat up. Dave, anything you want to say? How can the readers follow you on Twitter? What's your handle?
I'm at Cleavage57. I'll repeat that, at Cleavage57. and I'm on Facebook, obviously, as you know. I'm always on there with a like and a comment. If anybody is so sad that they want to follow an old fart, then they're very, very welcome.
Absolutely. You can follow this channel on Twitter at Stretty News TV. Also, the account for the blog is at Stretty News. Same with Facebook, Stretty News, which you'll see Dave pop on quite regularly with a picture of a posing monkey. Yeah, so that's it. Even a pout in there as well. So thanks for viewing. There's actually some people have tuned in on a Sunday evening, which is quite a surprise. We do usually broadcast on a Sunday night, which that should return next week, hopefully, with Serge, Jonathan, and Ian. Again, thanks a million, Dave, and thanks for everyone that watched. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Give your thoughts in the comment section. Subscribe to your friends about it. This channel is relaunching, and we're back to cheer on the Reds. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you.